Welcome to the IMHoH podcast with Nemo Nash. I am your host, and this podcast was made to step back, analyze from an unbiased perspective, invest in intellect, learn from literature, feed your soul spiritually, and be willing to seek the truth. Today's guest, we have a wonderful person, a jack of many trades, an educator, a very informative yoga instructor, even a reiki instructor, that's the word, a reiki instructor, and just a very intelligent individual that I'm actually honored to have in, because she has tons of wisdom and knowledge that I seek to get at someday. So hopefully today's gonna be a great conversation. I want to thoroughly introduce our guest today, Miss Jazz. Welcome to the IMHoH podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
No problem at all. We're gonna set the vibes right. I'm gonna do this, you feel me? Yeah. We came a little different. I got the Santa Palo. Shout out to our plug. I'm gonna attach all everything. If you listening, we lighting the Santa Palo. So do you know about the Santa Palo? You can tell the people a little bit something about it.
I do know about Santa Palo. So Santa Palo is kind of it's like another version of sage that you can burn to release negative energy that's in your atmosphere. When you're doing that, please always have the window open.
I heard about that. I ain't know what to think. I was like, damn, I was doing it the wrong damn way.
It's basically to release that negative energy that you're trying to get out and it has somewhere to go. If you don't let that negative energy go out into the universe or the space, then it's going to stay in your space. So basically you're saging for no reason because you're not getting rid of the negative energy that you're trying to. Also, when you are saging, set your attention. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, set that attention. If you're trying to accomplish a positive mindset, a more positive space, or you just need more energy, set that intention. Yeah, definitely set that intention so that way you have that in your space.
So when do you use like sage versus the Santa Palo?
It's all preference. It doesn't matter. It all depends on the person, depending on if the person likes to smell. But different cultures use either sage or Palo Santo, so it's up to the person. Whatever you gravitate towards, that is what your spirit is telling you you need. Okay. So always go with your intuition. Always go with what you gravitate towards.
We're going to keep the spirits in house today because I forgot to open up the window. So we're going to have everything in house so the spirits stay with us. You feel me? Like what they say in the church, the spirit of the Lord is here. All right, but like that was a good segue though, because I want you to actually talk about some of the things that your spirit gravitated towards when you talk about different cultures and things like that. One of the things I first noticed about you was your yoga. Like that's actually one of the things I want to eventually get into more. Can you tell me just a little bit about your journey, how you found it, and just what that experience was like for you and what you're doing now with it?
Yeah. So my yoga journey, it started. I would say it started in high school. I was just taking yoga, I wasn't really serious about it. It was just something to do, just to do. I love trying new things. That's my personality. I love trying new things. So yoga came into my lap. I decided to try it. I actually started with yoga with weights, which is actually extremely hard.
Weights? Hold on, how that work? That just sounds like niggas working out at that point.
With yoga, so literally in yoga poses, you're lifting weights up. If you're in a plank pose.
I can do that. That sounds like dope. That sounds like
it's a good sweat. It's a good workout. It's definitely intense.
It better be niggas over here.
Literally, we had dumbbells lifting them up in yoga poses. It was hard.
What is that one called?
Yoga with weights.
Oh, okay.
Straight yoga with weights. There's no fancy name for it, unfortunately. But yeah, yoga with weights. I started with that, and from there, I felt the burn in the workout, and I felt also the connection I had spiritually with my breath and coming back into oneness. So that from there made me journey on to continue to do yoga. So I did yoga on my own practice. Every day actually when I was in college, every day I did yoga. It was a ritual.
Every day?
Every day. Came home, went to classes, came home, rolled me up one, got to yoga. It was an everyday thing and it brought me peace. Yoga definitely brings you peace and a sense of clarity, especially when you have a lot going on and there's so much going on in your mind. It definitely brings that clarity and peace that you need. And then I then decided to take the leap to become a yoga instructor. So that was the most intense thing I've ever done in my life. But it was also so rewarding. I learned so much through yoga. I learned the different pranayamas. Pranayamas is the breath, different breath works. There's so many different breath techniques that anyone can use, even just sitting at your desk, just to bring you back into yourself. When you breathe, you're not really breathing. You're breathing to survive. You're breathing just enough to survive. So the breath you're taking is just enough for you to survive.
That was a bar. You gotta pause on that. You said we not really breathing. We just breathing to survive. I feel that because once I went, like, along my health journey, I got more acquainted with nature. And I had, like, for a moment, I really was taking a moment to focus on my breath. And you feel different, like, especially when you go out in nature and you just trying to focus on your breath.
Yes.
Like, you like, damn, bro, I'm doing this every day subconsciously, but I feel completely different when I'm taking a step moment and intentionally saying I want to just work on it. It makes you, like, feel more connected and, like, more of a, how can I put it? I don't know, like, it's just like, it felt good. It felt really good to be intentional about that. Just something that we do every day. And I guess that's kind of centered to the health thing. But I'm going to let you continue with the yoga because I'm going to let you throw it all out and then we're going to dissect it as it comes.
Yeah, so the pranayama is the breath. Again, there's so many different techniques. When you're actually breathing is when you actually fill up your belly and you're bringing yourself that air. That's when you're actually breathing. You're bringing that pranayama, that life force. So pranayama is the life force. The life force that you need to survive. So pranayama, I learned about different yoga styles. There's so many different yoga styles. Like, there's over like 50 yoga styles that you can take.
I hear in California they come up with 2 new ones every day.
So there's so many different new
They got
ones.
gluten-free yoga.
There's yoga with dogs. There's yoga with pets.
With dogs.
Like, there's so many different types of forms of yoga. And then just finding the one that resonates with you. Yoga is, again, very intentional. What resonates with you? It brings you back into that being, into yourself. It takes you out of reality and, like, you come back into yourself. I also learned about my chakras. I love chakras.
That's a whole nother category.
That's a whole nother category.
My chakras all over the place. I'm not gonna lie, I'm ratchet. I be going through it. Like,
but you need that balance though. So you also learn about Shiva and Shakti, which is also Inga and Pingala. So that's the masculine and feminine, energy. Everyone has that inside you. You are masculine, you are feminine. Everyone has that. Rather if you're male or female, you have that energy inside of you. So that ratchet side, you're balancing out that with your calm side. You need that.
Yeah.
You have to have that balance. You have the duality. You have to have that balance. You can't survive without it. You give more to one side, then you're gonna have problems on the other side. So that's just saying, like, all right, I'm very logical, but if I ignore my emotions, then it's gonna come out in a negative form or way because I didn't take the time to acknowledge my emotions. So it's gonna come out at some point. It's gonna come out in a way that you didn't expect it, a way you didn't want it to come out.
You might project it in a different way. You don't know why you snapping on people.
Because you blocked that. So you need that duality. It's all about duality. You can't have the good without the bad. You can't have the yin without the yang. It's not possible. So you're going to have that. Yoga brought me more to myself, and it was intense. Like, when I say intense, I was also still teaching. I'm an educator, like you said, teaching first grade. So we were in there every other weekend, Friday through Sunday, like it was a job. We was getting in. It was literally Friday, 5:45 to 9 p.m. and then we back in there Saturday morning, 10 to 6, Sunday 10 to 6, in there straight yoga, learning, practicing. Our practices were like 2 hours long some days, so it was intense, but it brought me a sense of calm. Although there was so much going on in my life, I knew I could accomplish everything because I was centered in within myself. I gave myself the techniques that I needed to be able to go out there and accomplish stressful shit, because you gonna need that. Like, if you don't have that breathing technique, especially says breathe, if you don't have that breathing technique, you need that. Like, you need something to recenter you, to bring you back into peace. I also found my happy space. I now have a happy palace in my mind. Like, I can just go to, if I'm mad, I go to my happy space and I'm automatically calm down good.
That actually, I'm glad you said that, because that actually brings up another topic I want to talk about. That me and like people, I've tried this conversation with other people about mindfulness and meditation. Me personally, I don't meditate, not in the way that people kind of traditionally think of meditating, but Yeah, for sure. But I want you to hit on this first. Like, for those people who want to do it in the more traditional sense of just sitting down and quieting their mind and focusing on their breath, what tips would you give somebody like them? Like, a lot of things I hear people, they have a hard time quieting their mind. And that is a problem for me as well in my new form, but it's still a problem. So what are some things you think you could do? Like, did you have that problem or?
Yes.
Okay. So how did you go about like?
So what I learned was not to force it. People force it. They think that, I'm thinking, stop thinking. And that makes it harder for you to do. When you're sitting in a space, and I would say for anyone starting off, start with 5 minutes a day. Don't try to sit here like, I'm gonna sit for 30 minutes now. Don't do that. Pace yourself. Build yourself up to that tolerance and that time frame. But don't try to control your thoughts. Let them roll. You have a thought, all right, let it come one ear, kind of like one ear out the other. Just let it roll, like roll through your head. Don't continue to focus on the thought, because the more you focus on the thought, or the more you try to get rid of the thought, the longer the thought's gonna stay with you.
Thanks.
So letting that thought just roll on, like, oh, okay, all right, I need to go cook at some point. All right, done. Don't think about what you're going to cook. Don't think about what you want to cook. Don't think about going to the grocery store.
That's where the hard part is, because then that's where people like we live in such a busy culture. It's like we always thinking about our next step. And even kind of within this quarantine, some people might just be on like, they don't know what the fuck to expect. Like they're worried, they're anxious, and it's so hard for them to just take a moment to get to themselves. And it's like, and for me personally, that's what it is. It's like, I'll jump from a bunch of different things to a bunch of different things. I'll be thinking about this and not end up thinking about this. Like, how the fuck did I end up over here?
How get there?
Exactly. I was like, oh shit, I'm meditating. Oh, my bad. Like, tricking myself, like, okay.
But then that's when it comes to the breath. So then if it comes to the point where you can't stop thinking, then you just automatically focus on your breath. Focus on the inhale. Focus on the exhale. That will then take your mind, like, okay, I'm only focusing on my breath. The rest of the thoughts are going to dissipate automatically, because you're intentionally focusing on your breath, each inhale and each exhale. So that's where that can help as well. Focusing on breath. Everything comes back to breath work. Anything in yoga comes back to breath work. Breath work is the most important thing in yoga. It helps with your mindfulness. It helps with building up your tolerance of anything, people, situations. That breath work is the most important thing. So if you're sitting down and you're just like, oh, I got this, like, you know what? Focus on your inhale. I'm gonna inhale and I'm gonna exhale. You focus on that, you're good. These
is facts, because people who work out, they can do the same thing. That's the same thing that they would tell you is when you're bench pressing, you gotta breathe. You gotta focus on your breath. You can't be worried about how much this weight is or what it is. You gotta focus on literally inhale, exhale.
And then when you do that, you can do heavier weights. Like, you can lift more, because again, you're focusing on your breath. You're not worried about the weight. You're putting everything.
So I've been doing yoga. I was in the gym before I hurt myself.
Exactly. So yoga's everything, and when you hear meditation can be walking. You can go outside and walk, and that's meditation. You can sit down and journal. That's meditation.
People should go outside and walk. Take your fucking socks off and walk in some real grass.
Ground yourself to Mother Gaia.
That is bro. When I tell you, when the sun is out, people been to the beach. They know how you feel when you out there on the beach just walking.
It's amazing.
Yeah, do that with grass. It doesn't have to be such a taboo thing. You don't always have to need to go to the beach. My people from the country, they know what's in the islands. They know what's up. But that has such a therapy, bro. Like, when I started doing that, man, that helped me do the breathing thing that I was talking about, because I feel like that set a tone. That kind of, you feel me?
Because you're grounding yourself into, I want to say Mother Gaia. Mother Gaia is another word for earth. You're grounding yourself into Mother Gaia. Like, you're getting that energy. That's a completely different other energy that you're bringing into your body that helps relax you and calm. You're getting back to the basics of nature. Yeah. So that helps with everything. It helps with your breathing. It puts you in a different vibration, a different mindset, because now you're vibrating with the earth. And that's an exceptional thing that you can get. And then on top of getting the sun, it's game over. That's a whole nother high vibration that you're on. That's a whole high. That's literally a high. That's a high of life. That's a high right there.
You talk about that's perfect timing, because I was actually going to take it to the other step. So as you know, I'm High Off Health Podcast. Health high not necessarily always equating to like a psychoactive drug being activated, but it can be, like you say, a high just from doing something you love. Like me, I love shopping for like fruit and like groceries and shit. And when I find a good ass deal, and I feel like I'm high. Like but also, like I said, if I'm walking off and I'm just doing everything in tune and I'm just kind of staying on top of my health, I really feel like I'm on a high. But I do want to talk about, I can't just bring that up and not talk about the lows, because that is the holistic aspect a lot of people overlook, because sometimes I feel like we glamorize health. We glamorize this whole lifestyle. So I want to know from you personally, what are some tools and aspects or some things that you had to overcome, and how you got, what steps you used to get out of those things, rather than, I'm sure it probably was yoga and everything like you mentioned in your story, but other things that you think like people can use as far as some self-care and some self-help things that they can possibly implement within for their schedule or lifestyle.
Okay. So to start, I still go through my shit. Yeah. Like, I am the furthest person away from perfection. I don't think perfection exists.
No, progress over perfection, baby. I preach it. You're going to hear this every episode. Progress over perfection.
So, when I have my lows come in the form of my emotions. I'm a very emotional based person. So if I don't find, I have safe outlets for my emotions, whether it be from boxing, whether it be from yoga, whether it be from going to the gun range.
Hold on, you saw how the switch up just came? But I fuck with that because people, like I said, they think it's monolithic. It's so many, it's multifaceted. And you saw my post that I did the other day. Yeah. It was like, the gun, like going to the gun range, I was just sitting there loading, and you hear the guns in the back. That shit's therapeutic.
It's therapeutic. It's another aspect that you'll bring into your life. That, again, the gun range is an amazing thing. I also journal if I feel like I'm in a space where there's too much going on, especially at night when you're just trying to dump your head. Like, there's so much going on. Write. If you just write, you'll be able to go to sleep like that. Literally, because you got all the thoughts that were in your head, you got them out, and you're no longer thinking about them, and you're more at peace with yourself. It's finding the things that you resonate with, that you feel comfortable doing, you feel it's a safe outlet for you. Whether that be painting, whether that just be walking, whether that be going to the gym, whether that be cooking. Cooking is, oh my God, I love cooking. Cooking is so therapeutic.
That's aromatherapy. It's the art. I feel like I'm painting when I'm cooking, because I'm putting everything, this, that, boom, 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 and then it's the final masterpiece that comes, man, for real.
Yeah, it's like, to me, like, if I don't cook, I get mad. Like, if I don't cook for like a good 5 days, it doesn't sit right with me. I'm mad. Like,
you're angry at yourself.
I get mad at myself because
but too lazy to get up and go cook. It's like, man, fuck, man. But still ain't gonna cook. I'm still ordering this food though. But shit, God.
And it's something to just be like, I'm just too busy to cook, and it makes me angry. It makes me angry. So it's just like, when you find those things that you love to do, that brings you to center, that brings you back into yourself, those are the things that you need to stick with and do. Like, again, me personally, like I said, I'm emotional. I also have an anger problem. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that shit. I have an anger problem. Point blank period. Had it since I was a kid. I now know how to control it in a way that it comes out in a better way. Again, I use my words better now. Like, before I was like, oh, fuck this shit, fuck y'all, fuck you, you can catch these hands, who with it? Okay. Now I'm just like,
still like that. Keep going though. Okay.
But now I know it's a time and a place, so like, I'm able to control my anger. Like, oh, you don't deserve that full blown anger. You deserve a partial piece of my anger. And it's also
it's an exchange of energy.
It's an exchange of energy, and sometimes that person or that situation doesn't need or doesn't deserve that energy. That doesn't deserve that energy that you have. Doesn't deserve that anger, because that's a whole emotion that changes your whole frequency and vibration. Any emotion changes your frequency and vibration in that moment, and it takes you a little while to get back into equilibrium and back to yourself. Yeah. So I learned how to control that, and again, I go to the boxing is one way I control my anger. It's a safe outlet for my anger. I can literally picture somebody's face on the bag and just hit that shit, and that's their face, and I'm like, oh, I'm good. We lit, we out here. Gun range, same thing. Safe outlet. So having those outlets for yourself, knowing, I'm gonna say this whole journey is about knowing yourself, learning yourself. being able to say, I know my triggers, and this is what pisses me off, and I'm gonna stay away from that. But people have to really, it's hard. And you have to be able to sit here and go through your traumas. Like for me personally, I had to go through my traumas. My yoga journey took me through my traumas. And I didn't realize how much I was holding on to because I locked that shit up. I was like, oh, things from my childhood, I locked that shit up and threw away the key, never opened that thing up ever again. But until I got to yoga, and that's nothing. Some people might go to yoga and they might start crying. Because when you're moving you're moving your body in certain ways, you're releasing that energy, you're releasing anything that you stored up and you locked away. Anything you locked away, you haven't dealt with, it's somewhere in your body.
Nice.
It's somewhere lingering there, waiting for it to be released. So that's why some people can, like, they might have experience of crying, they might have experience of sadness during yoga, but when they're finished, they come off that mat after Shavasana's court pose and just laying there, they feel rejuvenated, they feel better, and they feel like a different individual or a different being. And it's very important to take that step and to learn yourself and go through your past traumas. Like, it's hard, don't get me wrong, it's so hard.
Such is life.
It really is hard. It's hard going through your past traumas and acknowledging what you locked away for so many years, and acknowledging that, oh shit, this was actually, it's still affecting me to this day, because some people don't know why they're angry or why they're always sad or why they just don't like people. They haven't dealt with that. They haven't dealt with past situations that they've gone through, and it's challenging. Don't get it wrong, it's definitely challenging, but once you start on that journey and you start healing, you're going to feel like a load's been lifted off your shoulders, like you can breathe more, you will feel more at peace with yourself, and you won't be looking for those things outside of yourself. Those things will already be in yourself. Some people look for love outside of themselves instead of giving themselves love. Some people look for people to give them love instead of, all right, I'm gonna give myself some love. That's the next thing. Give yourself some TLC, some me time. Oh my gosh, that's needed. Take a bath, do some crystals, do something for yourself. If you got
smoke some weed,
smoke one, roll one.
That's my me time. I'm gonna roll this up, put my phone on airplane mode. I might light some pet that there.
Yeah, like give yourself some me time. Like it's really about learning yourself, not searching for those external things outside of yourself. Yeah. Everything you need is inside of yourself. Your happiness is inside of yourself if you deal with your past traumas. Yeah. Instead of looking for it outward, you already got it within you.
Yeah, you don't need that external validation.
No.
When that leaves, you're going to feel less than yourself. You're going to feel like, damn, you're going to feel hopeless because you have to feel as if you need to refine something else to replace that when what you're looking for is inside. And that's a journey that I had to go through as well. And I'm still unlearning some things. But I had to quit lying. You gotta be honest with yourself. I think a lot of people, they don't want to believe their feelings. They feel them, but they don't want to believe them, and they talk themselves into other things. That's why we have these depressive states, whether it be within relationships, whether it be our relationship. And that's relationship, not just with people, but with food, with the way we treat ourselves.
Yes.
In a bunch of different aspects like that. Those is facts, and I think that spirituality aspect plays a really big role in that, and also our diet. So that's going down a whole nother road.
It is. Diet's a big thing, but I also want to say that spirituality is what you make it. Yeah. Like, I don't want people to think, oh, I gotta go look at this person, this spirituality is. No, spirituality is what you make it. It's what your spirit resonates with.
Facts,
It's what you think it is. So it's not what the next person thinks. It's not what that person's doing. You're going to, if you open up to yourself and open up to your truth and open up to what you really are and your emotions and everything, your intuition, your spirit is going to guide you to what you need. Facts. You don't have to do any extra stuff. You don't have to do research. Everything you need is within you. And honestly, books are nice, but again, if you're not putting in that work yourself, then it's pointless. It's pointless of reading that book, because again, everything starts with you. What you need is in yourself. So I would say listen to your spirit as much as possible. Not even as much as possible. Do that shit. Don't even like as much as possible. Listen to your spirit. Listen to your intuition. That's going to guide you to what you need. If you're like, oh, like I'm guided to, like if I'm guided to this book, like I was guided to this book. I didn't know I needed it. Didn't know what it was for. I just knew I needed it. So I went. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get this book. And it honestly, it was something that I needed to hear and I needed to read. So your spirit is going to guide you if you allow it. If you declutter everything else, if you declutter your ego, that's a whole nother topic. But the ego, if you let go of the ego and declutter that, then you're definitely going to be able to be more at peace and go to where you need to go in life.
Yeah, that's bringing up another topic of another thing you do, of the many things you do. But one of the things that I want to kind of get more into as far as decluttering is Reiki. And that aspect, I don't know a lot about it, but I have seen it in practice. But I was skeptical, very skeptical. I've had a Reiki done before, but I don't think I got what I needed from it. But I'm not hopeless on the aspect as a whole, and I really think it could be beneficial because I've watched videos where people really, like you said, they be crying over this shit. Bro. Yeah. I was like, damn, nigga. I was like, what job through Reiki I got?